Hello and welcome to Verbal Journal episode 4. It's been a day today. One of the most frustrating things, I've already had problems with this when it comes to my live streaming. You can tell the camera's probably slightly different. I'm recording completely differently at the moment to what I would normally record because of this. So I don't know if you guys can see that. I have run into yet another problem with my Osmo Pocket. At the moment it's on and I cannot turn it off, and it says that it's recording permanently, pretty much. Like, it's on 0, the screen's black, and it says it's recording, but it's on 0, and I can't do anything. I can't find anything online. That's the problem I have with it right now. But the problem I have been having, as I have mentioned, is the fact that I can't get the webcam to come up. So I don't know if something's gone faulty in the camera itself. I should check to see if I have warranty or something, because I tried updating stuff. That didn't work. That was like the last thing I tried. But now that I've gone to actually use it again, just for recording purposes, this has happened. And that's not good at all. So hopefully the camera quality from my phone is good enough, because that is what I'm using right now. I'm also using OBS to record this. The first time I've used it to actually record a video now. The only problem is I'm not going to know how long this goes for. Yes, I am. There's a timer. Sweet. It's all a massive learning curve, man. And it's just frustrating. I've mentioned in the past that I have so many problems with technology. I don't know why that is. But it's currently Monday at 5:26. I just got home from work. It was a bit of a longer day because it was unfortunate news that one of the tradesmen had quit. He came in the morning. I sort of had a feeling it was coming, but I didn't actually think he would pull the trigger on it. And now we're back to 3 of us. And it's good and bad in a way. It has its pros and cons. But that obviously means there's going to be more work that needs to be done now, which is unfortunate because I just rearranged stuff. It seems like every time I rearrange either financials or time, something else happens and I've got to readjust again. It's frustrating, but it's manageable. I'm still grateful for the roof I have above my head, and the fact that I still have a job, I still have income coming through, It could be worse. But anyways, welcome. I want to try and plan these out a bit more. I've had time to think more on what I'm putting out, and I want to still have these as a verbal journal, still documentation of where I'm at right now. But I want to have some focus, because I feel like in the last episode, which was a bit chaotic because I'm trying to record everything structurally, but I was very sick last week and I ended up recording that podcast on the Friday, I think. And then edited on Saturday or Sunday. It got posted today, and so I'm recording again, but I'm used to just doing it in a week cycle, so it feels a bit strange. But I wanna be more structured. I want the streams to be more structured as well. I feel like that can carry everything a long way. So these are indefinitely, for the most part anyways, going to be coming out on Mondays. I had that solidified and that planned the whole time, because I feel like Monday is just like reset day. It gives me time to recalibrate, reflect on what I've done for the week, let you guys in on it, and in that, have time to think about something interesting to talk about, because I feel like if I'm talking about my day every day, it's gonna become stale. Not necessarily stale, because it's always different, but there'll be a lot of ums and no sort of direction of thoughts, But yeah, that is really driving me crazy, that camera situation. It's been on, maybe the other problem is it's been on charge all day, but like all day, all night last night, the chargers aren't charging properly. Maybe because it was hooked up to a USB port from my laptop. I don't know. I don't know what the problem is, but I just want it to be fixed. Anyways, the thing I wanted to talk about in today's episode was something that stays close to me because I go through periods where I'm either, well, I'm always busy, you know. I go through periods where I'm extremely busy, or I'm just like doing more than the average person, like just reaching over that, or the same as an average person, maybe just in their busy time. Because I feel like if you know the backside of me, you know that I don't know what it is, but when it comes to working on anything, I think I just find it hard to sit still, to be honest. And I don't know, I don't think it's ADHD. I don't mean that in a sense of like I have to fidget with something all the time, but if there's stuff to be done and I'm not doing anything, then I feel a form of guilt sometimes. And that can be a good and a bad thing because I get a lot of shit done. But yeah, the thing I wanted to talk on today around that was the fact that you're never too busy for something or someone. Everyone has the exact same amount of time. It's just where you prioritize it on your level of importance. And this is something I've just written, but I think I've formulated it from hearing something along those lines in the past. And it sat with me for a long time, you know. Like, I still think about that daily of everyone has the same amount of time in a day. And there is no excuse of saying I don't have the time for something. Because whether that be true or not, you're choosing where to allocate your time due to your level of importance. Like, for example's sake, say at the moment, you know, since I've moved into this new house, it's probably been close to a month now, I still haven't de-weeded the ground outside. It's something I need to whip a snip and de-weed and get rid of all the timber and stuff and clean it up. That, to me, on level of importance, is on a low level. It's something that has to get done, but there's other stuff that prioritizes that first. And it's the same even with relationship, right? I feel like me right now, and this is me speaking very vulnerably and very open, but I feel like a lot of what I'm trying to push towards at times, I put other people's relation first. And there is definitely got to be a balance, but I feel like it's being well outweighed on the side of putting more into those relationships and less into what I'm trying to achieve. And that's not an easy thing to say, but it is true. And I've, like, due to this little saying, I've realized that recently, and I've become complacent and just not doing what I know I need to do. I've been doing a lot of stuff, but it just feels like I'm trying to fit to a different lifestyle that is not sitting right with me. And I've been thinking about that the last week or two. Like, it's been an uncomfortable feeling because I've gone through waves of you know, like highs and lows and stuff, and especially within the last 6 months, year, there has been so much shit that has happened. And normally, say within the last 2.5, 3 years that I have been doing music, no matter what has been happening around me, I have not been allowing that as an excuse to take the foot off the pedal. Whereas now that I have a significant other in my life, she had taught me to do that because that is a healthier option. Because if I'm just go all the time, you never have time to stop and think about the things going on around you. Which, again, can have its pros and cons. I think it depends on the person massively. But there's also definitely a level of balance that everyone has to take, right? It just depends on what that balance looks like for the individual person. I know for a fact, what from what I see in my 9 to 5, my boss probably puts way too many hours in and should be balancing his life more, but it's what works for him, and I can't be there to say otherwise. And I think the same goes for someone like me with other people that might not be putting in as much effort as I am, and they see that. And for me, like, it's at a level where, like, I have to be at a level where I feel almost fulfilled. And not saying that I feel empty without doing it, but I think it's the way I've grown up. Like, I grew up in a very poor environment, and I still have always been in a very poor environment. I've never really been otherwise. Like, in any other situation, I've never really been in another situation. And so I think because of that, I have learnt since a kid, not even learnt, but like I've had to just do I've had to do shit in order to earn stuff. And I think that's the way that my brain is wired, right? Which has been good for my work ethic, like, no matter what it is. So even I had mentioned in the last episode that I have a private job coming up, and that I don't really have the time for, and that's what I'm trying to talk about, right? I don't have the time for, because my time is allocated in so many different places at once that it simply shouldn't be possible. And the apprentice had said to me, they're like, bro, how are you going to have the time for this? And I said, like, I'm going to have to make the time. And that goes for anything, you know? Say you are in a relationship, and say you're working your absolute ass off. You get to a point where that person feels like you're not putting in the effort, or like not being there for them enough. You then have to weigh up your choice of what means the most to you right now. Like, what do you have to prioritize? Is it worth the risk of losing this person? Or is it worth doing less work to keep this person around? I'm not, that's not me speaking my experience on what's going on right now by any means at all. That's just a example, right? Same could be said for people that, say, a school student, right? Say uni student, they're going to fucking uni, and they're also working a 9 to 5 at the same time they're going to uni. They also have parties and stuff they're going to. They have relatives they have to go see. They have all these different things. But the thing that should be number one priority is their study, so that they can pass. But because there's so many other factors, a lot of the time that goes under the radar, and I think they have to make that choice in that moment of prioritizing what matters most to them right now. Like, is it for them to pass, or do these other life events have more importance, and it's worth the risk of not passing? I don't know what made me think about this. I don't know. I think it's because of the situation that I have been in recently. Like I said, I've been going through ups and downs. Maybe it's the fact that I have not been working as hard for quite some time, and now I'm starting to try and put more and more work in to get back on my feet. I think that has a big play in it. But I want to know what, like, if you guys have been in a situation like this before, or are in a situation like this right now, like, where you're confronted by your time, you're confronted by choice, like, what, it feels impossible to do everything, but it is possible. You might just have to take something out in order to put something in. So in order to make time, you have to take time away, if that makes sense. Let me know in the comments if you have run into that sort of situation, because I'm actually intrigued. I want to respond to everyone that has a similar situation down in the comments about that. But yeah, that's just been on my mind, man. And even, yeah, I don't know how else to put that into words. I feel like for next episode, I will write multiple things to talk about because this is something I could probably go in depth more about, but I would just be rambling at that point. If I have multiple things to talk about, it might make it a bit easier. But yeah, I don't know, man. At the moment, as I had mentioned before, like my financial situation isn't the best, and I think that goes back to the time thing, right? Like someone saying you're not going to have the time for that, but what matters to me right now is I survive, and I'm nowhere near comfortable right now. Like I'm in a spot where I feel like I have to keep crawling, and I have to crawl my own path, if that makes sense. And the fact that an opportunity like this has come up, this is something I don't want to do for the rest of my life. But I'm finally at a point where I've been working that job for so long that people are coming to me and saying, I need some work done. Can you do it for me? And it's paying good money. So there's no reason I shouldn't do that, because that money will take me a long way. I'm even me trying to build out what I'm building out right now. It's the same as time. It's investment in time, right? Because it's the same thing with where I am right now. The more money I have, the more I can invest, the more I can allocate more time. Does that make sense? So it's always a back and forth, because I have guaranteed hours of my work, but also there's phases where we pump out heaps of work and I work heaps of overtime. And I go through those phases of I either have heaps more time to do stuff, or like a couple extra hours a day, which ends up adding to a lot, or I have more money and less time. So I have more money to invest with less time to allocate. And I'm honestly, I don't know. I don't know how to put it into words, but I've been in that position for a good probably a year now, where it's a lot of back and forth. I think the ultimate goal of where I want to be is having the time and the money. I think for anyone, that is like, people say that money is everything, like, and that's what their forefront of their mind is, but also time, man. Like if you have, it goes both ways. If you have all the money in the world but absolutely no time to spend it, then what's the point in having that money? But if you have all the time in the world and absolutely no money, then what are you doing with your time? Does that make sense? I feel like having more time is more valuable than having more money too, because with that, if you have limited funds and more time, you can invest that time into making more money. Whereas it works both ways. If you have more money, you have more money to allocate that to buy you more time. Like, time is the one thing that everyone has the same amount of. Again, it goes back to just where you prioritize it. And with more money, you have more opportunity to buy your time. Like, it's not a tangible object. But say, for instance, you're building a business out and you have multiple employees, or you don't. You're building a business out and you're working on your own. How do you buy more time in that situation? Like, if you're trying to build that business, how do you buy more time so that you can build that business? Well, you hire another employee. That is costing you more money, but that person is helping you out more, like giving you more time. And you could build and stack that to the point where some people will own a business, build the fuck out of it, and like grow the shit out of it, and then sell the business. That is them, making all the money in the world, and then someone else is buying it, so they're getting a bunch of money for their time. Like, their time is being paid for. It's such an interesting concept. I don't know if many people really think about it this deep. I don't know if I think about it this deep, or the fact that I'm just talking about it right now in my own thoughts that I am. But it's a fucking interesting concept. The other day as well, actually, speaking about time, it's more about dreams really, but something that was really interesting to me is, like, I'm not a massive movie person. I don't always watch movies. But when I have downtime with the missus, I will try and watch something, And one of the biggest movies of all time I had never watched, and that was Inception. And especially for a creative person like me, man, like that blew my mind. It opened so many ideas in my head, and it was so like multi-layered, you know. It was fucking such a good movie. The other movie I want to watch that is considered like one of the best movies of all time is The Matrix. They're both older movies, but it's shit like that, like I'm trying to think. It's shit like that, you know, that interests the fuck out of me. It's the same with this whole time concept. I'm sure there's movies and shows. I remember even when I was a kid, I used to watch The Flash, like the TV series. And a lot of that, even though it's based on superheroes and stuff, because he can run so fucking fast, he can travel time through, you know, traveling as quick as he can. And even all the time travel stuff in that, like I watched a bunch of the DC shows. That was back when I was in high school. I watched so many of the DC shows, and just the whole concept of how in depth and shit time gets, like time travel, and just like not being able to intertwine too much with the timeline because you'll create a ripple and destroy shit. It's the same with even not that I remember much of it, but even Loki and stuff in Marvel, like it's all the same shit. I'm sure there's like a million series and shows and movies that do stuff about time. But it's the fact that it's also possible as well. I'm no scientist or anything, but it's all science. Like it is all possible. Just as much as allocating time and buying time is possible. People don't think it is, but that's just you boxing your mind in, I guess. And I feel like the reason people don't think like that too is probably because of the way that society is structured. I still fucking hate the system. I don't think anyone likes it. But some people are even oblivious to the fact that there is a system. Of the fact that, you know, like, we go to school and we're taught to follow rules and have lunch at this time and breakfast then, and, you know, like, you have to learn this and that. You've got to, there's a person in power and you've got to listen to that person and do as they say sort of shit. It all leads to the system, you know, like what a normal person's life looks like. It's fucking disgusting. I've always stood by that, and I think it's different and varies for everyone. It definitely is. So it's a bit controversial, but bro, I fucking hate school. And it's not even the idea of sitting down and learning, because you can see, like, here first that I actually love learning about new shit, you know? Love learning new skills and stuff about life. School don't teach you that shit, man. Like, all school is designed to do is to set you up in a system. And I don't know what sick fuck ever started that, but it's gonna get worse and worse. And it, especially with, like, I don't know, maybe it won't. Maybe it'll get better. It'll either get way worse or way better. I think the fact that social media exists now and all this AI bullshit exists, it could get better because people have access to everything and they're more aware. So maybe more people will rebel. I guess, like, if you were, like, I'm sure a lot of you have seen people going and living in Bali and then working online or whatever, or people starting multi-million-dollar businesses online, and they're all, like, fucking young as shit, like 20 or younger, you know, like very, very young. So I feel like maybe it will be better, but I don't know. You just never know, hey, because even with where we are right now, you never know who the people in power are planning. Like, just because that's what's worked for such a long time, they're gonna have to adapt, and I feel like they will. Even something like, this is another very controversial thing, man, but even COVID, like, I feel like that was just a big test to, you know, people were starting to feel like they were in control of their own life, and the government are like, you know what, we're gonna fucking teach you otherwise, bro. And they sent out this virus and they got people sick, and you have to do this and that, you have to follow all these rules, otherwise you get fined, it's against the law, you know. and everyone fucking listened. And I feel like it was just a big play, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know the logistics behind it, but I don't know. It sounds like I've got it right now. Even the fact that, like, everyone had to get a jab. Multiple jabs. Why did the fucking first one not work? Like, people, even I knew nurses and stuff that would do, like, giving these jabs out, and they were defending it. Like, at the time, people were like, I'm not taking a jab sort of thing. COVID hasn't been around for long enough for you guys to have a vaccine for this shit. And they're like, well, it's actually been around. I think the study was from like 2010 or something, like, or early 2000s. Like, that's how long COVID had been around for, this virus. It had just broken out really bad. But if that's the case, why did everyone need so many different booster shots? That's the thing, like, that never made any fucking sense. And not everyone got all the booster shots. I didn't. I think I got one booster shot. So I got the original shot and then a second shot. But ever since that moment, I've probably been more sick than I ever have in my life as well. Is that due to that? I don't know. Is it due to just other factors in my life? Potentially. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like life's going in a very scary direction. I was even talking to some homies the other day about AI and stuff, like, and where that can go. Because it will either be one of the best things that's ever happened to us, or it will destruct all of, mankind sort of thing. It could go either way. And yeah, I'm talking about a lot of controversial shit. This is going completely fucking left. I don't want to talk too much on it because I don't want to fucking offend too many people. But yeah, this is the good thing about this podcast, man. Like, you're going to literally get the inside scoop of what is going on in my head. I can't hide from it, like, I am speaking what's there. And I feel like that can be good, and I hope it helps people, because I hope that it reaches people in the sense that you don't have to be silent. Like, there's nothing wrong with speaking your mind. There's something wrong if you act in a particular way and in a negative way towards other people, and that affect other people's lives negatively. But bro, these are just my opinions and thoughts. It's not hurting anyone. I'm not, Yeah, I will stop talking about that because that could go very bad. But that's the honest truth, bro. Like, this whole idea of me building all these platforms out, man, I want to be as, like, close to you guys as possible. I feel like it's very important, because even if I'm doing similar shit to what other people are doing, which currently I don't think in my area or city or country really many people are doing what I'm doing right now. That's where I'm going. Even though not a lot of people are doing it, it's still no one else can do what I'm doing, because no one is me. No one is you. You could do this shit, bro. You could do exactly what I'm doing right now, and it would still be different to what I'm doing, because if you're being as authentic as you are, then I can't copy that. No one can copy that. Something I learned a long time ago when it comes to music and stuff, that just no one can copy you. So always be yourself. Like, and I have talked about that of, music was sort of heading in the direction where I felt like I was fitting a character's shoes. And I am still Tiga, Tiga is not a character. Tiga is a motto, like, Tiga is something I live by, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's a character, to grow and remember. I always grow as much as I can, remember where I came from, and not make the same mistakes. It's been something I've lived by for a long time, man, and I will continue to live by it. So there's no point in stripping back this character, because there was no character in the first place. I was just being less me. And I need to be more me. And I feel like you need to be more you. Everyone needs to be more themselves. Don't give a fuck what no one else thinks. because no one else can be you, bro. Just be the best version that you can be. That's all I have to say on that. Anyways, if you guys like this, please leave a like. Please subscribe so you can follow along with the journey. It does help a lot. And as I say in every other video, leave a comment down below if you have any suggestions on what you want to hear me talk about. Hopefully, I just dropped my camera with a gimbal. That's fantastic. Hopefully, I have that fixed in the future. Hopefully, I can find a fix with the webcam. This, honestly, using the phone isn't a bad idea. It's just a matter of fact of keeping it charged. I can't see the camera. I feel like it's a little counterintuitive, but we're making it work for the moment. Either that or I'll get like a new webcam or something. I'll figure it out. But yeah, anyways, I'll speak to you guys soon. Thanks for listening. Goodbye. Peace.